Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 6:30.
Good evening to you. This is News 6 at 6:30. Thank you for joining us live here on News 6 Plus. I'm Matt Austin. We want to get you right to your forecast. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us with more.
Yeah, guys, we still need some rain out there, of course. We all know that, and some of us, a lot of us, didn't even get a drop, and that was expected last night. All of the heavy stuff focused west of Orlando, and it did do a little bit, take a little bite out of the drought, but we still need a lot more. 86 tomorrow, lots of sunshine, 87 degrees. We'll see a few extra clouds back into play. Once we get to Friday, we'll increase rain chances ever so slightly, back up to 20%. We're going to warm things up as we push 90 degrees as well. Now, over the weekend, rain chance is going to start to go up even further, and that is going to carry into the early stages of next week. So we're starting to turn the tide just a little bit. We're going to pinpoint that when we break down the entire 7-day forecast and talk about where we stand in terms of those drought numbers coming up at about 6:47, Matt.
Jonathan, thank you. We are back in the courtroom for day 2 of a high-stakes trial. Prosecutors making their case for the death penalty against 2 men convicted in the infamous Xbox murders. Troy Victorino and Jerome Hunter were already sentenced to death, but those sentences were later struck down due to state law changes. News 6's Molly Reed has been in the courtroom with this resentencing trial.
Out of the 4 men who were convicted in this case, Troy Victorino and Jerome Hunter were the only 2 sentenced to death row by juries. Prosecutors today want that sentencing to stick, illustrating what happened that day in 2004 from every angle.
And I didn't feel responsible for what happened. I feel remorse for what happened to the people in that house.
This witness reading almost a full day's worth of testimony from Michael Salas for the jury. Salas was one of the 4 men who went to the house with Jerome Hunter and Troy Victorino. A jury found Salas guilty of murder and Robert Cannon pleaded guilty. Both are serving life sentences.
I didn't help nobody. I didn't hit nobody in the head. I didn't hit nobody in the face. I did not go into the house with the intent to harm anybody. I had no choice but to be here.
The group led by Victorino bludgeoned the 6 victims with them. Prosecutors say Victorino was squatting in one of the victims' grandmother's houses before getting kicked out, but left items behind, including an Xbox that he wanted back. Salas also testifying what happened when they got in the car after the murders.
What happened when Mr. Hunter came to the expedition?
When he opened the door, he came in. He had a look in his eyes of joy.
Now, it's been the prosecutor's case so far. Both defense teams say they're going to wait to start their argument until after the state rests its case. We're told the state will likely rest its case tomorrow, so we'll hear how the defense hopes to keep these 2 men off death row. After that, in DeLay and Volusia County, and Molly Reed getting results, News 6.
Well, it's been more than 2 years since a fire destroyed multiple condos in Longwood, and now the man who investigators say started it has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Prosecutors say he did it because he was angry with the Homeowners Association. Our Catherine Silver went back to the complex today to get a look at how his neighbors are still dealing with the aftermath.
Oh my God, it's completely on fire.
From the street, you could see the fire at the springs was damaging. But up close, you can see just how devastating it was.
When I opened my front door, because I heard a weird noise, there were soda cans exploding, hitting across the breezeway.
This is home for Karen Williams.
There were just flames shooting out.
A home she's been out of since 2023, when investigators say Mark Herman doused his condo in gasoline and ignited it, an act of arson out of anger. Court records show he owed about $28,000 to his homeowners association. His unit was foreclosed on, but prosecutors say Herman refused to leave. News 6 covered the case and the sentencing this week.
It's going to be 12 years. He already has credit for 2 years.
He tried to kill 4 people. Even now, when I meet somebody and I'm telling them the story, this can't be real. You know, they can't believe. I had to struggle to find a place to live while he was finding 3 meals in a bed from day one.
She's also been struggling with code enforcement and insurance.
We've been in a rental property for 2 years. Insurance covered barely a year of that.
And rebuilding is only part of the recovery.
I have PTSD. Fire truck goes by and I'm in full panic.
Williams says she's now lived in a rental longer than the place she bought when she moved to Florida. And more than 2 years later.
You must have learned so much.
More than I could ever want to know.
At least she's finally getting closer to calling her condo home.
It's a brand new, it's what I picked out. It wasn't the grandma house that I purchased, so it's gonna be my dream.
A dream home, but at what cost?
Know your neighbors. I'm background checking. You know, if anybody else, people move, I'm background checking. I can't, you know, my kid lived here at the time.
You would have done things differently.
Yeah.
In Longwood, Catherine Silver, News 6.
Turning now to Brevard County at Fred Poppy Park in Palm Bay, families are impressed with the new playground equipment, especially the additions for kids with special needs. But some are alarmed there's no fence or gate between the playground and a big pond. News 6's James Barbero shows us himself.
Well, it's my first time here at this park, and right away I noticed just how close the water is to the new playground. It's just steps away. Some parents here are now saying that all they want is some kind of protective barrier in this space here. So I just met Autumn, who says she's one of those parents who would like to see some sort of protection for the children. Why do you feel that way, Autumn?
I feel like it's not very safe having an open body of water so close to a park like this. I have a brother who's autistic myself. So for a park that is, you know, inclusive to special needs children, it makes it even more serious on needing a barrier because you don't know if they can swim or not.
So if any other parents were to say to you, just keep an eye on your kids and nothing bad will ever happen, how would you feel about that perspective?
My thing is you can keep your eye on your kid as much as you want, but you know, you're not always going to be able to see them 24/7, you know, where they're at.
So you want that risk to be zero?
Yes, most definitely. I would love to, you know, not have to take any risk of, you know, my child or any other children getting hurt.
While I was at the park, I saw some Parks and Rec workers who I asked if they'd like to talk about the playground. They told me no. So now I'm at City Hall trying to get a response. If the city gives us any information, whether they're going to address the parents' concerns, potentially possibly any solutions, maybe adding a barrier, I'll add all new information to clickorlando.com. In Palm Bay, Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, News 6.
Thank you, James. Well, it is Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Let's check out what's trending tonight. Lots of you have been wondering about the future of local NPR and PBS stations. Well, the White House drafted a memo to Congress expressing interest in cutting almost all federal funding toward these resources. Specifically, WUCF runs PBS programming for 9 counties in Central Florida, free over the antenna and through radio stations there. They provide education resources, warning, alerts for public emergencies and severe weather. Here are some other top trending stories right now over at clickorlando.com. Florida dominates the nation in education freedom. Basically a fancy way of saying Floridians have lots of options when deciding what kind of school is best for their kid. And U.S. consumer confidence plunges to the lowest in 5 years. Economic analysts say the anxiety has reached levels seen in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, a picture problem, that's no problem for handy newsman Eric Von Anken. Hanging 3 big pictures can be hard, but he's getting results at home and how to keep them level and looking good on the walls. When a mass on her pancreas didn't show up on a second round of tests, one woman headed to Orlando Health. Coming up, find out how the new technology that helped her identify it and get the help she needed right away. You're watching News 6 at 6:30. We are live on News 6 Plus right now, covering Eatonville, Palm Bay, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Your Tuesday evening traffic alert. You're going to see some delays along the Florida Turnpike overnight as scheduled. Not a complete shutdown, so just be cautious. And then down on this end, we will see lane closures along I-4 with a possible shutdown also westbound close to Kirkman and Sand Lake. So just be cautious as you're commuting overnight. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
Orlando Health is boosting its efforts to integrate the latest technology, including artificial intelligence, and how it cares for patients. News 6 anchor Bridget Ellison took a tour of the newly expanded Orlando Health Digestive Institute in downtown Orlando today and spoke with a patient who credits that team with saving her life.
I had never done a second opinion in my life.
Leela Braswell found the Orlando Health Digestive Institute team while she was looking for a second opinion. A mass on her pancreas identified in an MRI did not show up in a regular endoscopic ultrasound at another practice. That's when she turned to Orlando Health.
I was referred to Dr. V within less than 10 days. I was having the going in for another endoscopic ultrasound where they can biopsy the tissue. It came back with positive for pancreatic cancer.
And for me personally, it's very gratifying that we are able to identify cancers in the early stages and treat patients the best.
Gastroenterologist Dr. Shem Varadharajulu, known as Dr. V, is one of Braswell's doctors and serves as president of the institute.
But with artificial intelligence, it will tell you exactly whether it is a cyst or whether it is a cancer.
He says the team there is pioneering artificial intelligence technology for earlier diagnosis and treatments like Braswell's case. One of the tools inside their newly expanded institute is this endoscopic ultrasound featuring AI software.
And when you do your procedure, the procedural feeds go through the computer, and in real time, it will tell you what are the normal areas in the pancreas, and it will pinpoint to you anything that looks abnormal.
It's been 1 year since the detection and chemotherapy, and Braswell's happy to say she's cancer-free.
All of the above, I am so thankful. It was just serendipity.
Bridget Ellison, News 6.
Here's a live look now over Daytona Beach. Beautiful day out there on the beach. And yesterday, even though maybe if you're in a more interior section of Central Florida, you might have gotten a decent amount of rain.
Yeah.
Out by the coast, they didn't get anything.
Not a lot at all. Yeah, a couple of downpours early this morning. Nothing to write home about. Didn't really do anything to our drought. As you mentioned, though, the heavier stuff west of Orlando yesterday. I want to show you some perspective on what this did to our drought. And again, we need much more of this, but this is the best way to follow the drought. That's why we show you this on a nightly basis as we are hoping for some rain and forecasting a little bit, but it's going to take a lot more to get us completely out. Now, this is the Keach Byram Drought Index. Again, 500 is the critical mark where burn bans start to be in place. 600, we really start to get ourselves into some trouble because of how dry the ground is. Higher the number, easier it is for things to burn. Look at what happened to Marion County last night. The small box there, that's the change. 45-point difference on the positive side. So again, we're now below 500, shaving 45 points off of that with a lot of rain. We got anywhere from 1 to 3 inches across parts, really a lot of Marion County. Just shaved off 1 point in Lake. We did have some heavier rain around Eustis, Tavares last night, Mount Dora. Still though, this is an average, the number of the soil across the entire county. So that's why we really didn't do anything to our numbers, still above 600. Some improvements in Sumter, we're still way above though. We added to the number across most of Central Florida from Orlando, points to the east with the average soil again coming in super dry. There is some rain on the 7-day forecast. There's more rain coming, it looks like, as we get to the first week and a half of May. It looks like we're going to turn things a little unsettled, and that would be some good news for us. You see the outlook precip-wise, rainfall-wise, is on the green side again, meaning that there's some confidence that we are going to turn the pattern around and get some much needed rain in here. Here's a live look, Port Canaveral, Brevard County with our Launch Credit Union camera tonight to see a few clouds offshore. Temperatures back to the upper 70s. The breeze at about 15 miles an hour. It had been gusty at times throughout the course of the afternoon, and we are going to keep that breeze off of the Atlantic through the day tomorrow at about 15-ish miles an hour. 82 in Groveland, Orlando. We are at 82 right now. Denellen, good evening. We're back to the middle 80s as well. Now here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by the Florida Lottery.
Temperatures overnight back to the low to mid 60s. A very nice morning you're waking up to tomorrow. Again, just a few passing clouds out there. Average lows this time of the year are in the lower 60s, so right where we should be on a late April morning. 86 in Orlando tomorrow. Oviedo, we're checking in at 84, a little bit hotter through the I-75 corridor. Back to the upper 80s in Wildwood. We are at 88 degrees in Bushnell as well. Big chunk of high pressure going to be the reason, again, for the increased moisture through central Florida. This is going to try to meander back closer to us. Notice these white lines on the screen. That is our wind direction off out of the east, off of the Atlantic. That's also going to keep our rip current risk pretty high. So if you are headed to the beach over the next couple of days, keep that in mind that you're likely going to see the red flags flying with that perpendicular airflow into the shore. But it's also going to gradually bring in extra moisture for our sea breeze thunderstorms to play with. We're back to the mid 80s tomorrow, upper 80s on Thursday. Because of that breeze shifting to a more southeasterly component, because of that area of high pressure I showed you, we're going to warm things up a little bit to near 90 over the weekend, at least the first part of the weekend. Then rain chances spike to about 40% on Sunday, 40% on Monday as well. A little bit cooler as we change the weather pattern up. We need some change around these parts, Matt.
All right, yes, we do. Jonathan, thank you. Keep on streaming. We'll be right back.
I'm News 6 anchor Justin Warma.
And I'm traffic safety expert Trooper Steve. Coming up tomorrow, potentially big day when it comes to space.
Yeah, the key hearing for President Trump's pick to lead NASA, all as big questions remain about what comes next for some of the space agency's biggest projects.
Plus, your weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Join us for News 6 mornings, starting at 5.
Hello.
It's Mike here in Apopka.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm great. Of course, you know I'm Eric Von Anken, the handy newsman with Destiny as always. And the reason we know Mike is because he's behind our creative services team.
That's right. Come on in, guys.
All right. So, Mike, you have a particular picture problem.
I do. I have 3 very big pictures over here I want to get hung on the wall.
I see. Yeah. And the challenge, of course, with just one picture is getting it in the right spot, right? I brought some hardware that should make this a little bit more simple.
Fantastic.
You gonna help us today? The way these work is one bracket goes on the wall and the other attaches to the picture frame. You can slide the frame around in case it's not in the right place. Step 1 is placement. And first we're going to find the center of the wall. So it's 145.5 divided by 2. Okay, 145.
Eric, what are you doing?
I'm doing math.
With
Trying
what?
to.
A pencil and paper?
Well, this is how my grandmother taught.
No, that's not how you do math. You use a little calculator. See? See? This is the answer, right?
I like that better.
Me too.
Step 2 is to attach the frame bracket. Love this built-in level. Step 3 is figure out the height.
Mike, a little higher, a little lower, probably a little higher. I'm gonna go. Yeah, a little higher.
Take your time. Nobody else has emailed me.
I think that's good.
Right here?
Yeah, I think so.
Step 4 is to mount the wall bracket. But first, we got to measure from the hole down to the bottom of the frame. So it's 36. Now all I got to do is measure 36 inches up from the line, which is, remember, the bottom of the frame, and that is where the hole goes for the bracket. And last thing is, since this bracket is 88.5 inches from the floor, got to make sure this one is exactly 88.5 from the floor. Let's go get Mike. Mike, I'm very anxious. How'd we do?
Eric, this looks great. Perfectly separated, straight, lined up in the center, level.
When you put this on the News 6 Instagram page,
yes,
we're going to get a good review, right?
You will, yeah. It's actually going up on Instagram right now.
Excellent. Wow. You like it too, huh?
Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, that's pretty good.
Love the cat.
You know, yeah. That's a multi-step process to hang a picture here.
It is,
So
if you want it
wanna
done right.
have it, perfect. If you have a project you'd like Eric to tackle, send us an email at gettingresults@wkmg.com. And next week, Eric might just show up at your door, and yes, that is a threat. Hey, so thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Oh, is my mic off? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hey. I'm talking over Jonathan's microphone right now. Thanks for watching News 6 at 6:30. You can stream News 6 anytime on News 6 Plus Smart TV app. Remember, we break news at clickorlando.com. We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock. Good night.